know you're selling the stuff you stole.
I'm glad you told me.
Who's fencing it for you?
Okay. I'm getting fed up with this. I'll talk. I got a hobby. I train white mice. I train them real good. So every day I give each of them a diamond and send them out to make a sale. And every night they bring me back the money.
A comic. All right, go on. Let's see how long you keep being funny.
Listen, I spent 5 years in jail for something I didn't do. I'm out now. I did my time. Get off my back.
Just a minute, Lieutenant. May I, Mr. Tanner, my name is Hart. I'm with the Consolidated Insurance. Now, we paid out $125,000 for those jewels you stole.
I stole nothing.
Okay, I stand corrected. But look, in the 5 years that you've been in prison, not a single item of the stolen goods shows. Now, you're free for 1 month, and pieces show up in Miami, New Orleans. Now, what are we to think?
Those mice sure get around, don't they?
Keep it up, Tanner. Keep on being funny, and you'll go right back.
You know you can't try me twice for the same rap, Lieutenant.
Look, Tanner, we're not trying to hound you. All we want is the jewelry.
And why don't you ask him? He had all the answers at my trial. Well, do we go around the mulberry bush again, Lieutenant? Come on, book me or let me go home.
Go on. Get out. Well, what do you think?
Oh, he's guilty, all right. I don't know how he's doing it, but I'm going to find out. He's clever, this Tanner. Very clever. He knows darn well he can't be tried twice for the same crime. Now, for the last month, the police have had a 24-hour tail on him. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And still the stolen jewelry shows up, right?
Yep. How he does it licks me. I don't know. I give up. Lieutenant Peters has cooperated beautifully, but he can't spare the men any longer. That's why I want you on the case, Diamond.
Well, I'm very flattered, Fred, but what about your own investigators?
No, I need a fresh pair of eyes, a new mind. We're too close to this case. Now, I know that you get $100 a day and expenses. All right, I'll pay that. Or 10% of anything you recover for us.
How much is missing?
100 grand, give or take a little.
Give or take a little. Now, it didn't take a genius or a UNIVAC to figure the percentage. 10 grand for recovering a few baubles. Well, I'm not mercenary, but I figured the government could use the tax money. 10%, Fred. You got yourself a deal. Why don't you fill me in on the details?
Well, Tanner was a costume jewelry salesman. He called on Variety Jewelers on 5th about once a week. But one night, after his usual weekly visit, their safe was cracked.
You mean they arrested him on the basis of his being there that afternoon?
No, the next day, the police received an anonymous phone call. They searched Tanner's apartment and found 2 stolen bracelets in his sample case.
An anonymous phone call?
Yeah. Oh, here's a complete file on Tanner.
Now, all the police were able to recover were the 2 bracelets, until Tanner got out of jail last month.
That's all.
Well, I'll do what I can.
I know you will. Well, maybe I'll get a good night's sleep now. And spend a little time with my family. Good luck, Rick. Anything you want or need, just call me.
All righty. I read Tanner's file several times. I even got a complete transcript of the trial. Tanner maintained his innocence throughout, unable to explain how the bracelets got into his sample case. Then I had to find out for myself what kind of a guy Tanner was. Mr. Tanner?
Yeah?
I'm Richard Diamond.
Well, if you're selling anything, my wife isn't home.
I'm not a salesman. I'm a private detective.
You know, I am getting fed up with cops. And in my book, a private detective is the lowest.
Now, Mr. Tanner, I'm only trying to help.
That'll be the day.
I was hired by Consolidated Insurance. I don't care whether you're guilty or not. I just want to recover the jewels.
Oh, my guilt doesn't seem to matter to anybody. Is that it?
I'm only a guy trying to make a living.
There are other ways.
Well, let's figure I'm not very bright. Do you mind if I sit down?
Go ahead.
I don't suppose you have any notion how the bracelets got into your briefcase.
No. The prosecutor said I was clever enough to stash the stuff away, but stupid enough to leave damaging evidence.
You have no idea.
Mr. Diamond, I must have set my case down 100 times that day. In stores and restaurants, even in my car. I usually leave it in the back seat.
Was that smart?
The stuff retailed for $3.50. Who's going to steal it?
Have you got any enemies?
Does a dog have fleas? Sure, I suppose in business you're bound to step on some toes once in a while, but...
You gonna go back to your old job?
That's another laugh. Biggest year the company ever had, and the boss says he can't use me. And those other salesmen, they look at me as if to say, well, what are you doing here with $100,000 stashed away? Listen, Mr. Diamond, do me a favor, will you? Tell that Mr. Hart to get the police off of me. Tell him to leave me alone.
Well, they're only trying to do their jobs, Mr. Tanner.
Only trying to do their jobs. What are they trying to do? Figure out new ways of torturing people? Listen, I'm sick to the teeth with it. You understand? I'm fed up. Leave me alone.
Tom.
Oh, this is my wife, Jane, Mr. Diamond.
How do you do?
Yeah, well, if that'll be all, Mr. Diamond.
Yeah. Thanks for the chat. You'll say my goodbyes to your wife.
Sure.
Who is he?
Well, some private detective. He works for the insurance company. Hey, 3 steaks?
Oh, honey, you won't mind. I asked Lou Granger to dinner. He was so wonderful to us, and we haven't had him over since the night you came home.
You didn't ask him to find me a job, too, did you?
Well, what if I did?
Oh, he's done so much for me already, honey.
Look, I knew you wouldn't ask him. Pride. So I did. What's the harm? You forgive me?
Sure. Make mine medium rare, huh?
I give you my word, it's okay. Makes no difference to him, believe me.
Auto supplies. It's a new line, Tom.
And not a bad one either. He's expanding. Couple of years, you can manage a branch, go in for yourself.
Sounds pretty good.
Most of the young guys working there now, they were all in school when you... Well, you'll like it. When you want to start? Start tomorrow if you like.
Well, let's start Monday, huh? We'll make it a clean week.
Okay. Oh, one more thing. Go in well-dressed. Pays to look well, that's what I always say. And, well, so people treat you differently when your suit's pressed. I hate to eat and run. Gotta go.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Lou. I mean, what can I say?
Well, see if you like the job first, huh? Well, let me say thanks for a nice meal with real nice people. So long now.
So long, Lou.
Oh, you see, darling, it's the beginning of a new life for us.
Yeah, I guess it is.
I have been keeping close tabs on Tanner for 3 days. I was about convinced that he was innocent when Fred Hart called to tell me that some more of the stolen jewels had shown up in Detroit. Well, there are only 2 possibilities. One, that Tanner gave the stuff to someone to hold for him till he got out of jail. The other one is that
Yeah. Why would he do that? The stuff was sold while he was in? Why, Tanner would be in the clear.
Yeah, but would he trust anyone to handle it for him? I don't think so. I think he's handling it, and right from here.
But how?
What do you know about Mrs. Tanner?
Mrs. Tanner? I've got a file on her. She works for an electronics firm. Has for years. Good record with the company. On the job every day, 9 to 5.
Mrs. Jane McManus Tanner. With an hour off for lunch.
What?
At lunch, Fred. Lunch, or she goes shopping, hands someone a bag. Supermarket's a busy place.
Well, hope you're right. If you're not, where do we go from there?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know. Let's cross the bridge when we come to it. See you later.
All right.
In any kind of work, it's easy to overlook the obvious. The police and the insurance company had checked Mrs. Tanner out. But you'd be surprised how a 9-to-5 job puts one in the clear. But I knew from experience that many a crook has punched a time clock. I followed Mrs. Tanner uptown to one of the nicer residential districts. This was definitely not the place where she worked. There were roughly about 150 apartments, and it wouldn't be easy to find the one she went to.
Miss.
May I help you, sir?
Yeah, the lady that got in the elevator dropped this on the sidewalk.
My, an honest man.
What apartment did you go to?
I'll give it to her when she comes down.
Now, there's an awful lot of money in here, and I might get a reward.
She went up to Lou Granger's, 7B.
She ever been there before?
I don't know. She asked what apartment Mr. Granger was in, and I told her.
Thank you.
Hey, wait!
While Mrs. Tanner was socializing upstairs, I phoned Fred Hart. I got a quick rundown on Granger. Aside from the fact that Granger was a good friend of the Tanners and had paid for the expenses of the trial, Hart couldn't give me any other details. But to my little old suspicious mind, Granger was acting just a bit too friendly. Mrs. Tanner had another little stop on her busy agenda, a neighborhood pawn shop. Jewelry bought and sold. The big question was just what kind of jewelry this pawnbroker was handling. Hello, Mrs. Tanner. May I?
Take a good look, Mr. Diamond. I was trying to get $50. $50 to buy my husband a decent suit to go to work in.
Left the pawn shop feeling like a low-down, miserable heel, and all morning I couldn't shake that feeling. Mrs. Tanner also explained that she'd gone to Lou Granger's to thank him for getting Tanner a job. For the first time since I hung out my shingle, I felt like turning in my permit and looking for a job myself. Those friends of yours?
I never saw him before in my life.
What'd you do, Tanner? Try to cheat your partners out of the payoff?
Go on and get out of here. Nobody asked you in here. I opened the door and they put the muscle on me. They wanted the stuff.
Just like that. Well, look, who were those guys? What did they really want?
I don't know. I tell you, I don't know. You don't believe me.
Well, okay, how did they get to you?
I don't know. The grapevine, I suppose. How do any of these things happen? Cop talks in a bar. Employee tells a friend. Next thing you know, you got a couple of finks on your neck.
It could be hit. Here, sit down. You want a doctor?
No, I'm all right. Let me alone. Get out of here, will you? And stop following my wife.
Let me speak to Lieutenant Peters, please. Peters, this is Diamond. I gave Lieutenant Peters the license number of Tanner's two playful chums. I was beginning to feel pretty sorry for Tanner. Maybe he was telling the truth. But I still wasn't quite ready to give him a clean bill of health.
You to get out of here. Now get out.
I only got a quick look at the name in the bank book, but that was enough. Jane McManus, Mrs. Tanner's maiden name. I told Lieutenant Peters to meet me at the Merchant's Bank. Together we might shed a little light on the missing jewels.
Tom, what's wrong? Why did you call me at work? What happened here?
I had a visit from a couple of hoodlums.
Your face. My poor darling, what is
It's a good thing they came, or I wouldn't have found this.
Tom?
Start lying. Tell me where you got it. Maybe you saved it out of your earnings, huh? Maybe you won it on the horses. I'm waiting for your story.
I borrowed the money. Tom, I was going to surprise you.
You sure did.
I was going to open a business for us, both of us. Hi-fi equipment. I have some experience, and it's a good business these days.
Why don't you start lying, huh? 4 deposits in a month? One every week? I just got out of jail. It's funny, isn't it? You're suddenly getting rich. The stuff starts to show up. How come, huh? Who are you working with? Tell me.
No.
Who is it?
Granger.
Granger. You and Granger?
It's not what you think.
You framed me. You framed me. Granger planted. You put the stuff in my case.
I'll call the police. I'll tell them everything. I don't care anymore what happens to me.
Get your coat on. We're gonna find the stuff. Then you won't have to worry about what happens to you.
When Peters met me at the bank, it was after hours. But we had no trouble getting in to see one of the vice presidents who was very cooperative.
Hello, Mary. Checking account, please. Jane McManus. I can't tell you the exact amount, not even the police. But I can tell you if it's a substantial account and when it was opened. Will that help?
That it will.
Now go ahead. In the high four figures. Opened 5 weeks ago. Thank you, Mary.
And thank you, sir. Come on, Peters.
I sure love tidy housekeepers, don't you, Diamond?
If Mrs. Tanner returned from work soon, I wanted to be here to greet her. You know, there was still the matter of the 10%. Now, as much as I like Peters, I didn't like him enough to share the money.
They nabbed the two guys that shoved Tanner around. Well, I'll be right back. Oh, you did? Well, I want to talk to those two guys. Hold him. Assault and battery. Right. You want a lift?
No, thanks.
Oh, how about Granger? You, got something I ought to know? Now, come on, let's not play any games.
No, Fred Hart asked me to call you about Granger, that's all. You can ask him.
Okay. So long.
Yeah, so long. Mrs. Tanner should have been home by now. If she was working late, maybe I could stop her. Let me speak to Mrs. Tanner, please. Oh, she did. She had left work at 4. Suddenly, the little monitor inside my head began to sort the pieces of the puzzle and was arranging a pattern. A little bell rang with a sharp clatter.
It's Jane. She kept after me for months. Tom makes peanuts, she said. Let's make a killing, Lou. A killing. Even the plan to keep the stuff off the market till you were sprung was hers.
It's a pleasure to see you crawl.
Okay, her plan, my plan. What's done is done. Let's share the money, Tom.
Who's gonna share the time I did, huh?
You made $7 grand a year, right? That's $35,000 you got coming. Her share and yours, that amounts to over $60,000.
Oh, I thought you two were gonna go away together.
Don't be silly, Tom. I bought 1 ticket to Brazil. 1. Here, I'll show you. That's my wallet. I never carry a gun. Here. I was going alone. See? See my point, Tom. We'll get rid of the rest of the stuff and...
Where is this stuff?
Out of town. Chicago.
He's lying. He's got it.
In the wall safe.
Get it. Get over there.
Take all of it, Tom. Go on. We won't say a word.
Tom, please don't shoot. Don't.
You won't get as far as the lobby if you kill us.
He's right, Tanner. Now, you're not going to kill anybody.
Don't bet on it.
Come on, give me your gun. You can walk out that door clean as a whistle. The state will pay you for the time you spent in jail. And now quit grandstanding. You're no killer.
How do you like that Granger? Hannah's best friend. Did so much for him. Well, it just goes to prove the old saying. Timeo donos et dona forentis. Which means...
Beware of Greeks bearing gifts.